Hey everybody, welcome to TnSportsChat presented by Lehigh Valley Health Network. I'm Patrick Matsinko along with Emmett McCall. This is our wrestling edition for our weekly recaps. Season's kicked off, a lot of tournaments out of the area, so it's a fun time to just sort of jump right back into it and just to kind of see where everybody is coming into the season. A lot of these kids are coming off of maybe a long football season, you're not exactly sure, and obviously too where they are with different weight classes, they'll be dropping down, moving up, depending on how things go throughout the rest of the season. But it is always fun to see kind of where things are early on. Had some success early in the season. Tamaqua's Bronson Strauss captured an individual title at the Bloomsburg tournament. A pair of Jim Thorpe wrestlers, Jared Newhall and Derek Hunter, also captured tournament titles at Catasauqua's Rough Rider Invitational. So a lot for those programs and those individuals to kind of build on, gets a little bit of momentum early in the season.
Yeah, and this is your time of the year, Matt Matsinko. You're our wrestling expert. I'm leaving you do most of the talking as opposed to the basketball ones we just did. I thought it was pretty interesting that we had a lot of schools that had basically tip-off type of tournaments to kick off the season, and then next week we have a bunch of holiday tournaments going on. So there are not a lot of dual meets going on right now, but a lot of action in tournaments. And you kind of talked about it. We talked about it during our boys basketball. Tamaqua boys basketball team has a lot of people contributing who were part of their successful football team, and the wrestling team is in the same boat. Bronson Strauss was a key two-way lineman on the football team. You talked about him winning first place at the Bloomsburg Invitational. Nate Wickersham was starting linebacker on the team. He had a runner-up finish at Bloomsburg. Those two literally had maybe a couple of days of wrestling practice, and that's not even exaggeration, from the time football ended until their first season tournaments. So nice job by them to be kind of mid-season form already.
Absolutely, and Tamaqua's a team as well that under head coach Jim McCabe, I think, has kind of been building, kind of gaining numbers, just kind of seeing what they've done the last couple of years, what they did as a team at the Schuylkill League tournament, then what they did, even at district duels. Disappointing result, kind of the first round loss there, going out on that Thursday. But they have a decent amount, a lot of talent. We look at, again, Aaron Cochio, another wrestler who had a runner-up finish for Tamaqua at that Bloomsburg tournament. It's a group that's kind of seasoned, tested. They've been together for a little while, kind of like we talked about with the football team or with the basketball team. These are guys that have kind of been together for a while. And as much as they want that individual success, that they also want team success as well, and to kind of take another step forward in the league and in the district, when we get to district duels and tournaments like that. So
yeah, and you talked about the numbers are improving at Namaqua. Another program, I did the preview story, Lee Hayden, Floyd Brown, he was excited. He had 29 kids out for the team. That's a lot. He ended the season last year with, I think he said 14 or 15 because of injuries and things that the season ended. He had 14 wrestlers, and they have 29 now. Good success. First tournament of the season, I'm looking here, Richard Frohnheiser, 170 pounds, and Brendan Smay at 113. Both had runner-up finishes at the Brandywine Heights tournament.
Yeah, and Brett Gasker was third. You have Lucas Ferguson, Stephen Fritzinger, Lucas San Giuliano, Alex Ziegenfuss, also placing for the Indians. So that's just another case where it's exciting for them. They're building numbers. They're continuing to kind of build that program. Northern Lehigh is another team that competed in that tournament. Also had several place winners.
They're another team that they're trying to build the numbers. Still have a few more holes in the lineup that Coach Scott Snyder would like probably, but you see some improvement there, and you see some the program is starting to move forward.
Yeah, and you look at just again kind of going back to that to that tournament at Brandywine where you have Matt Frame, Trevor Amora, Joey Abadelli, Jason Hunter, Josh Schaefer. I mean, all again kids that medaled, kids that placed.
Yeah, five different wrestlers medaling. That's an impressive showing.
Yeah, and I had a chance to cover another pair of Colonial League teams just last week when I saw Palmerton Northwestern. Northwestern came away with a win. Impressive performance for a team that's giving up 2 forfeits, had a lot of pins, got bonus points where they really needed them, and were able to really kind of grind out and pick up a really nice win against Palmerton. And again, it's a Palmerton team that I know, like Coach Justin Peterson said, still kind of trying to find its way, see what he has, as most of these teams are. But yeah, I think as we move through the season, you'll kind of see a little bit more from these teams, from some of these kids. I think about a Matt Lalek or a kid like that who was down in a match, goes to overtime, wins it in overtime. Then you have, obviously, Northwestern had Jake, Eli Decker, Ben Griffith. There were so many kids that picked up so many huge wins, got pins when they really needed them, and really helped to kind of swing that match in Northwestern's favor. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that sort of all plays out as the season moves along.
A couple of Schuylkill League teams that were in tournaments the opening weekend. Panther Valley was at the Carlisle tournament. Jim Thorpe was at the Rough Rider Invitation in Catasauqua.
And Panther Valley also just picked up a nice dual win over Halifax the other night. Won
Criteria,
it on
right?
Criteria, which is always exciting when it's 36-36. And I believe the Panthers won it on Criteria based on victories in most contested bouts. So that's nice. And again, it goes back to every match counting, and every match that you're in, you kind of wrestle hard, and it could end up being the difference in a match like that. So, yeah.
Jim Thorpe had a couple of individual titles we talked about earlier when we started this, but a couple of wrestlers in Newhall and Hunter who did some good things last year. And
Absolutely, yeah. And you look at, again, you have a Will Schwartz as well, a Kendall Herron, and those are kids that I think are, as much as they're leaders on the mat for Sean Albert, they're also leaders off the mat, and I know just kind of even reading through the preview, he wanted those guys to really kind of take charge, take hold, and help get more kids out, bring more kids into the program. They lost our Wrestler of the Year, Ethan Mordaunt, who was a force for the Olympians throughout his career.
Several years, yes.
Yeah. So now it's kind of up to those guys. It's on those guys to kind of keep carrying that torch, so to speak. And I think you look at the numbers, and again, that's another program that looks like numbers are up, and they're getting more kids out for the team, which is huge.
It seems like a theme this year. A number of our area teams, the numbers have been increasing for wrestling, which is a really good sign.
Absolutely, yeah. You see so many forfeits. You hear all the talk of weight classes dropping down, or eliminating weight classes, and you're really not sure exactly where things stand with that. But it's always nice when you see the numbers start to go up a little bit more.
And we talked about tournaments early in the season, holiday tournaments. Just looking at our schedule, we have our teams, 7 of our 8 area wrestling teams are in tournaments, and they're in 5 different tournaments. We have Panther Valley and Jim Thorpe are both at the Jim Thorpe Christmas tournament. We have Lehighton at the Bethlehem Catholic tournament. Northern Lehigh and Pleasant Valley are at a Bloomsburg tournament. Northwestern is at the Bethlehem Holiday Classic at Liberty, and Palmerton is at the Governor Mifflin Holiday Wrestling Tournament. So tournaments at the holidays, they always provide great tests.
Oh, yeah.
You're getting wrestlers from all over the district, all over the state, even out of the state.
Absolutely,
so,
yeah.
We get we'll get a pretty good idea of who were the wrestlers to watch this year after this weekend.
Yeah, it's a fun time to kind of get to see all those different levels of competition, spread across 1 or 2 days, or whatever you might have, and it's a fun time because it is a little bit of an indicator to see kind of maybe where some of these guys are trending, or what they might be capable of. And you had mentioned Pleasant Valley. The Bears also picked up a really nice win last week over Parkland. So the Bears, again, another team that has increased numbers.
Yeah, they were
more kids out.
forfeiting a bunch of matches just a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And
so, again, continuing to kind of build and move forward there with head coach Justin Miklos. So, yeah, so there's a lot to look forward to. And again, just like we talked about with boys and girls basketball, as the season moves along, we'll kind of get a better idea of where everybody stands.
sounds good.
Anything else for you, Emmett?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, so for our Times New Sports Chat wrestling edition, I guess, that's all for this week. But be sure to come back next week. We'll have many more highlights from all the tournaments, dual matches, and just kind of much more from around the area. So for Emmett McCall, I'm Patrick Matsinko. Thanks again for tuning in to TN Sports Chat, presented by Lehigh Valley Health Network.